What's going on, y'all? It's me, yet again, streaming. You know what I do? You know how it is? Today, I'm honestly, just earnestly going to be trying to work on a project, you know? No fooling, no messing around. No playing around, just honestly, just working. Just bracking cut. That's all there is to it. Not trying to be particularly entertaining. Not trying to do anything particularly interesting. Really, just getting some stuff down, you know. Let's just hop into the programming thing. P5 the Windows XP startup didn't look like this, TBH. It did not. It was slightly different. I couldn't get the colors right when I was recreating that bad boy in what's it called? Photoshop. But you know, I think I did an okay job. It has the same vibe. A lot of people think it looked like that. But this whole thing is all smoke and mirrors. I mean, pretty decent smoke and mirrors. Look at this. The window moves around properly. I can overlap them and whatnot. But yeah, you know, you're right. It's not Windows XP. I don't know how I would go about doing that. That'd be a hassle. But, you know, let's get these rearranged just right. I'm curious, Fee-Fi-Fo-Fum, was it the Windows XP that brought you here? Because if it was, it worked. Oh, and he's already gone. Fair enough. Anyway. Jordy's here. Hello, Jordy. Let's see. Where am I going to? PapeChanger. So this stream today is going to be about updating the PapeChanger CLI. Right now, if I let's get out of my editor here. If I run PapeChanger -H, these settings are ridiculous. I mean, -C, -M, -R, -setup, -use built-in. Quite silly. But honestly, I don't remember when I followed you. All right, well, you're followed. Thanks. And I appreciate you following. What was I doing? Oh yeah, that's right. The command line arguments to PapeChanger are kind of silly because some of them only matter when you're changing the wallpaper. Some of them, and this isn't even a newer build of PapeChanger, shows how often I update my own software. But some of these things only work in some cases, and I'm missing a couple of commands that should be necessary for a program like this. So what I decided to do is I'm just going to redo the CLI aspect of it. I started this the other day. So basically it's just going to be PapeChanger daemon get or cd, or just run PapeChanger to change your wallpaper, and then I'll have command line options as well that are specific to each like little sub command. And I think that'll make the command line option. I think I'll make the entire UI a lot more clean and easy to deal with. And then I'll have to go into Xcode and change the command line arguments that are being called in the Mac application, and then I'll have to go into the Windows portions and maybe change stuff. I don't know that I have to change anything in the Windows portion. I think this is really going to clean up the UI. And once I have that, I'm toying with the idea of rewriting this whole thing in another language to make it. Something's wrong. Oh, I don't have my light on. I'll be right back. used to streaming with that light over there. Anyway, I'm toying with the idea of adding a couple of things to PapeChanger. I noticed that in Sway and Hyperland and other WL Roots-based window managers, since the window manager itself doesn't include a utility for changing the wallpaper, I'm going to want to take one of the utilities, steal all its code, and then put it into PapeChanger so it can change the wallpaper. Because I don't want to have an extra requirement for someone. I want someone to just download it, and then whatever window environment they have a native way of setting the wallpaper. And WL Roots and all of the programs used for setting up WL Roots are written in C, and I don't want to have to add in cloning the WL Roots source in the libraries to the build. However, if I rewrite this thing in Rust, then there's already Rust bindings for that stuff. So I'm considering rewriting this whole thing in Rust. What language is this? This is Go. Yeah. I think Go is probably the proper language for this. It's the sort of thing that you want to be type safe and not, crash. It doesn't need to run super, super fast. It does need to go fast, but not amazingly fast. And it, I like to edit my programs a lot, and Rust with its strong type system is going to lead to a very, very rigidly connected program, unless you put generics everywhere, and then it's hard to understand. So I think Go is kind of the correct choice here, even though I am, like I said, thinking of changing it to Rust. ARV DevOps, yes, I am making a CLI tool. It's actually not strictly a CLI tool. On Windows and Mac, it exposes itself in this way. It's a wallpaper changing utility. So in Windows and Mac, it exposes itself this way with a, let's see, Foggy. But in Linux, it's a CLI tool, and on Windows and Mac, it's a CLI tool underneath a UI. But I'm going to change the CLI arguments because a lot of Linux heads have been complaining about it being too about the CLI interface being too ridiculous. So I'm changing it to this from this, which is pretty gross. So, of course, we have a bunch of problems here. Any good Go courses you recommend? Yeah. Go is actually not a bad language to learn. If you're already good at another programming language, just going to tour.golang.org and running through the Go tour. There's a handful of lessons on it. Talk about packages, variables, various language constructs. There's not a whole lot more to it than this. And then just start writing Go programs, honestly. If you're not particularly good at programming, maybe you only know one other language, then I just recommend the classic Go book. There's where is it? You know what? I think I have it linked on my website on the reading list. Yeah, here it is, the Go programming language. It's a classic. It's an oldie but a goodie. The only stuff that's really changed is I wonder if they have a newer edition. Anyway, the only stuff that's really changed since the last time. Oh, this will be good. 2015 edition. Good at C, C#, and Python. Okay, then yeah, just do a Go tour and start writing some Go. That's what I would recommend. Otherwise, the Go programming language, this newer 2015 edition, is probably the one you want. The only stuff that's changed since the old one have been mostly just some stuff around packaging and then some minor library stuff that you'd figure out anyway. But the Go tour is really all you need if you already know how to program. It's really not a complicated language. So anyway, we got to fill in So what I did was I took the old main method or main file and main.go.old. Took the old main method. I copied it to a file with the extension of .old, and I just have it here for reference. And then the new main file is here. I just put a switch on os.args1 to see if it's excuse me. Put a switch on osargs1 to see if it's been called with these arguments: daemon, get, cd, or nothing. And then I'm just going to call each little subcommand as its own command and run through everything, parse the arguments, and that'll be it. So I'm just going to fill these out today, and hopefully I'll have the program running. Got to get rid of all these complaints, but you know. This restore isn't actually going to be a command. So one of the struggles of writing a program that runs on every system is you have to you kind of can't make very many assumptions, and you have to have good fallbacks if the assumptions are wrong. So one of the things I have is this daemon mode that should be covered by an OS-specific wrapper, but if it's not, it does kind of a half-ass job of running a daemon that puts something up in the taskbar and allows you to change your wallpaper. So that's kind of a hassle. Otherwise, we'll have a get argument that will just return whatever aspect of the PapeChanger environment you want, and the CD will just change which directory it's pulling wallpapers from. Kind of the same thing I'm doing up here. Right, and choose a different wallpaper directory. Go to Cozy Taverns. You can see it change in the background. Go with orange. Anyway. Oh, maybe that's a little difficult to read. Let's do, like, I think a pink comfy one. There we go. That stuff isn't too bad to read. So yeah, let's just get into it. Oh, and I hit the wrong thing. Oh, there we go. My keyboard has touch-sensitive panels on the side that I've mapped to do all sorts of fun stuff. You know, I have one of them that goes between different windows, one of them that moves my windows around, full screen, and oh, screwed that up. And scroll, and sometimes I'll swipe my finger on it and screw everything up. Like, I've just doubled the amount of times I'm having a Vim moment where I hit the wrong key and it screws everything up by making it so my keyboard itself is actively working against me. But such is the life I've chosen for myself. Without further ado, first thing, when I'm passing the flags into the old new flag set, parsing the arguments, what I need to do is pass in the flags into this pass the flags into this function, but only the flags that need to be parsed, and that's going to be different here. So I'll just say args, which is a slice of strings, and then we'll flag.parse args, and then we'll call this one with os.args 2 : 2 : and this other one we'll parse it with os.args 1 : there we go. So that's better. So after you parse the arguments, what do we do? First flag will be order, which shouldn't be too bad. If we look through the old thing, your classic functionality, we'll do it. We get the pape directory. If we're changing the directory, it would do something else, but we're not going to worry about that. And then it would use the what's it called? It would use the wallpaper selector algorithm, you know, whether it should be random or if it should be in order. And then it would select it, and then it would return, it would write the state of the pape state file. So that's not too bad. So we have order, restore, which is going to be a slightly different thing, command, and an error. All right. So what I think we'll do is we'll do a switch order case random r rand oops. We'll do strings dot to lower random. Random r or rand. Then what we'll do is we'll do I'm looking at this API I've designed on the right here, where you select the wallpaper in order or randomly. I think there's a better way to do this. You know, I'm just going to use the current API and then edit it later. So if it's random, we'll do pape to pick error equals selector dot select wallpaper random. You get the pape dir from that. We'll do another case. Order O ord pape to pick error equals selector dot select wallpaper in order. And that needs pape dir env dot current pape. So we'll have to parse the environment variables before we can use that one, or the environment. Then what we'll want to do is do a case reverse rev pape to pick error equals selector dot select wallpaper reverse. Now we'll take the same arguments, pape dir env dot current pape. Now selector is not defined, so what we'll do is we will selector. Where's selector? We'll just paste that in here someplace. Let's see. Pape to pick, we'll get to that later. Undeclared name, we'll get to that later. Undeclared name, we'll get to that later. Undeclared name, we'll get to that later. So then let's see what else is in here. Don't need that. Errors equal nil, unable to select wallpaper, setting wallpaper to whatever. And then pape setter dot set pape to pick. So that'll work. Pape setter dot set pape to pick. That's fantastic. Let's add that import. Not equal to nil. We'll say println to do. Oops. And then we need to say error equals env dot write state pape to pick. If error is not equal to nil. Oh, jeez. Having trouble typing today. ft.println to do. So we need the environment of the thing. Let's see, where are we getting the env? There we go, environment.env. So we'll say env, comma error equals environment dot get state. Make this a colon equals. If the error is not equal to nil, we'll probably want to say something along the lines of, let's see, if the error is not equal to nil, then we'll just do that one again. Import environment. And we'll say papedeer. You know what? I think we just do env.papedeer. So we got that set up. So now we just need to use the reverse and the CMD flags. So the restore and the CMD flags. This case reverse we're actually not going to worry about right now. Of course, need a default in case somebody puts something dumb in there. We'll just say to do, because that'll be like a little error message, likely. So we use restore and CMD. So restore, we'll set it to the current pape. So we'll say we'll just put in it real quick. If restore and order actually, you know what? I think these flags we're just going to put in default options anyway, so there's no really real way to see if restore is there or not. So what I'll do is I'll just check it and see if restore is put in there, then we'll just ignore order entirely. If restore, then we'll say pape to pick equals env dot current pape. And of course that's a pointer, so we need to dereference pointer. env dot current pape. Oh, it's just a string. Fair enough. So the last one is cmd. Command to be run to set the wallpaper. The string is passed directly to the OS default shell with any instance of %s replaced with the name of the wallpaper. So that is something that is going to be new. Sometimes you don't want to use whatever PapeChanger has decided to set your wallpaper. I noticed this is a problem in Sway and Hyperland, where there are many different ways to set a wallpaper, and nobody can agree on which one's the most correct way. So until PapeChanger has subsumed and taken over every single possible way of changing a wallpaper, we need to make it so that people can pass in whatever the hell they want. So what we'll do is we'll go into this set pape, which is different for each operating system. So this is just giving me the Darwin version of it. But I think what I need to do is make a new one for custom. So I'll say if let's see, cmd is not equal to nil, pape setter dot set pape custom. And of course that doesn't exist, but we will write it. So we'll internal slash, let's see, no, this one was in PKG. Pape setter slash, let's see, unknown, each desktop environment, Mac, Linux, Windows, the interface itself, and unsupported. So we'll probably want to make another one and just call it generic.go. That's where we'll define the set pape custom. Func set, set pape custom. And then this will take in a pape path, which is a string, and a command line, or command. Package pape setter. And then all this will do is just call the operating system's this will just call the operating system, and we will return an error. So this is going to be a little bit of an arcane incantation. Pape setter slash mac.go. Well, it's actually not too bad. We want to add in FMT. We want to add in OS/exec. And why is it still mad at me? Oh. So we'll just put in pape path, and then replace everything before the comma. Oh. With the command. Except this won't actually work because the different command line arguments aren't going to be parsed out properly. It'll pass the entire thing to the shell as one thing. So I wonder if there's a way to set up the expansion with the shell in there. And I'm curious how it's going to work on Windows. I'm going to have to do some testing, I suppose. So let's see. Golang pass string to default shell for processing. Let's see how that works. Advanced command execution. So it mostly assumes on its own thing. And I would just separate by spaces, but that's not exactly how it should work. Let's just check macOS, Linux, and Windows to see what it takes to get the default shell. What's the best way to do that? This isn't going to be exactly what I want, but we shall see. It's OS signals. I know that if we, let's see. What if we search for take user defined shell command as input, Golang. See, this is what I want to do, is shell to use. The question is, how do I figure out which shell? I don't want to just specify bash. Maybe I guess on Windows and Linux, or on Mac and Linux, I can just say bin sh, and then on Windows I'll have to make it be PowerShell or something. I think that's probably going to be the easiest way to do it. Yeah, I think that makes the most sense. Oh. Let's see. Termin system at runtime Golang. Operating system. Detection at compile time, detection at runtime. If runtime.goOS. There we go. Switch runtime.goOS. Case Windows. We'll do something. Case Linux will do something. It'll probably be the same for Darwin. And what are the runtime GoOS options? Oh, there we go. Android, Darwin, Dragonfly, FreeBSD, Linux, NACL, NetBSD, OpenBSD, Plan 9, Solaris, Windows. Okay, so I think we got everything we need. And then for default, we'll say we'll to do a message about operating systems, but we will give it a shot anyway. And then we'll say shell string. So then Linux and Darwin, it'll be shell equals /bin/sh. There we'll say shell equals /bin/sh. And then Windows shell equals invoke PowerShell Golang Windows. How to call PowerShell from Go? You just say PowerShell. PowerShell dash no profile. That'll work. PowerShell. Need to import runtime. And then what we need to do is we need to run the command, and then command.run. Let's see, run starts for complete. The return error is nil if the command runs. Has no problem copying standard in, standard out, and standard error, and X's with a 0 exit status. The command starts but does not complete successfully. Okay. I think inside the exec we can also get the standard out, because I think this will be an important message to pass back to the user. So Golang exec retrieve standard out. So I want to get the standard out pipe and then use start instead of run. Start. I'll say error colon equals that. So then we'll say cmd dot cd out pipe, and then we'll want the cmd.scd error pipe. So they're both going to have out and error, out error, error, error. If error is not equal to nil, then what we'll do is figure that out. Do the same thing down here. No new variables. So command.start starts it, but does not wait for it to complete. If start returns successfully, c.process field will be set. After a call to start, the wait method must be called in order to release associated system resources. So we'll do cmd dot wait. No. Wait, no, is that it? Time dot duration. If wait is non-zero, it bounds the time spent. Oh no, it's wait delay. I just want wait. What does that do? Waits for any copying to standard in or copying from standard out or standard error to complete. Command must have been started by start. Okay. So we'll call this out pipe. We'll call this error pipe, and then we'll have out, comma, error, string. Yeah. error string. Does that not work? Yeah, fair enough. And then we'll just do a, I want these to be strings. I don't know that I actually want these to be strings. First of all, let's start. So we'll probably want to do a go function to copy the stuff out of the out pipe and the air pipe. Go func out. Let's see. Pipe dot read. IO dot read all. Let's import IO. So anyway, we're going to want to io.readAll, return the slice of bytes and error. So we'll say out is a slice of byte. Error will be also a slice of byte. io.readAll out and io.readAll error. We'll do error handling there. We'll say this isn't exactly the most efficient way to do this, but I cannot imagine it mattering. Not a type. Variable of slice of byte is not a type. What? Out. Oh. Let's do out string and error string. So we'll just say out string equals string out, and we'll say error string equals string out. Oops. What am I doing wrong? Out. Oh. Jeez. There we go. So then this one will actually be kind of a hassle. So if error is not equal to nil, what we're going to do is return a bunch of nonsense so that the user can do stuff with it. So we'll do fmt dot error f. Actually, you know what? I think instead of doing that, yeah, actually, you know what? We're going to just return error. And instead of copying all these all of these things into their own thing, we'll just print them out standard out. I don't know what I was thinking. That's much easier. And standard error. So we'll just do io.copy destination followed by source. So that'll be os.std out, comma, std out pipe io.copy os.std error pipe. There we go. This will make a lot more sense. There we go. And this is probably going to have an error and number. Frankly, don't care. Now I'm just specifically putting those underscores there so that anyone that comes across will see that I specifically made the choice to not care, not even a little bit, about these variables. These variables are none of my business. Couldn't care less. Waste of anyone's time to even think about those variables. So we got that done. So that's for if they want to use a custom command. Go back into main.go. So we want to put in the command. I don't want to do this. I want to do star cmd is not equal to empty string. And there we go. We have the classic functionality rewritten. So the next thing to do is go through the daemon functionality. So it still has the same CMD. Now we have a selector CMD. This is because when you run this on Mac OS, it uses a native selector like this, but this is for the wrapper. But if you run daemon mode on, let's do a new window here, and let's see. Oops. Let's see, how do I don't know how to use my computer. I know how to do that. Whatever. We will go install github.com/npmail/PapeChanger at latest. And let's run daemon mode. I'll give a demonstration of how that works right now. Kind of a less integrated version of the Mac OS version of the program. But it's platform anywhere that find.io supports it. Let's give this thing a second. There we go. Which PapeChanger, it's the one. Oh. C use built-in. There we go. So it'll create it with this. It'll create a chooser widget with this thing on it, which is perfectly acceptable. The only problem is, what if somebody wants to use a different selector widget? So we're going to take care of that here. So I'm trying to think of how to go about doing that. I suppose we just get to it, right? So the daemon, let's see. I'm going to get rid of this stuff as I write it, so it's less to look through. Like, we already got all this stuff figured out, so we can just get rid of that. It's the classic functionality stuff. So you have the daemon mode. That's if it's set up and not daemon. Where's the one that just checks for daemon mode? There we go. We just call it UI.runDaemon after checking the environment, and we just tell it if the setup is run. So let's get rid of that. So let's see. Let's just find that. Daemon takes in environment and a setup argument. I forget what that setup argument does. Huh. This is a little confusing. Adding in this thing in, maybe that was a mistake. Maybe I ought to do this in a different way. Maybe I'd make this a more fully fledged windowing application and try not to hide it in the way I do. I think I'm just not going to worry about the daemon for now. So these ones should be pretty easy. The get, all I have to do is just load up the environment and get some stuff. So what we'll do is we'll do that, and then we'll do so let's see. Deers or deer. So we'll say if deers, actually we'll say if not deers and, oh, don't know where the ampersand is, and not deer, and of course these are pointers, big hassle. Then we'll just say fmp.println env.currentPape. So that's fantastic. Because that means I didn't supply any arguments. That means that all they want is the current wallpaper. So then you'll just say if deers fmt.println env. Deer of deers. So that's your deers dir. And then we'll do the same thing. So we'll say if deer. We'll do env dot pape deer. I think is deer of deers is the right thing. Yeah, that's a function that needs to be called. And then we'll just do os.exit 0 on all of these. There we go. So that's pretty much figured out. And this one we'll just need to say that if it's not set up, it's not set up. We might wrap this get state in something since we're doing it in a few different places. Oh, you know what? Flag order restore CMD. We don't have a setup functionality. Maybe we add in a dash set to set a wallpaper. Oh, I see what I was doing. Have an optional one to do a path to a specific wallpaper. That's right. That's how I was going to do it. So that way you can just say PapeChanger / pictures / whatever, and then that will just set it to that. And then some users may only ever use that command, but it'll feel natural and easy to do it that way, in case they want to orchestrate their wallpaper changes some other way. I remember I was cooking with fire the other night when I was thinking of this stuff. I'm telling you, my UI stuff is just on point these days. Let's see. In arg. What is args? Turns to non-flag args. What does this get state do? So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make it so this get state function has another So what I'm trying to do is figure out if somebody just calls it raw, it'll of course write it into the state file. But what if they don't already have a state file set up? We need to set it up, but we don't want to make them force it to set up a state file. We want it to just kind of happen. Let's make a function called get or create state. Actually, no, we don't have to do that. We can just initialize the state on its own. Of course. Because it takes in the first pape, and then it writes it, and then reads it, which might be a little slow, but, like, frankly, it's not going to be a problem. And this just rewrites the whole thing. Yeah, so it truncates it otherwise. So yeah, all we need to do is just run this initialized state. So that already does what I want. Remaining is greater than 0. What we'll do is we'll just do env dot environment dot initialize state, and then that will be flag dot args. We'll say remaining 0. So let's just take whatever the last thing is and do it. And then what we'll do, and this is going to be very, very, this is some devious stuff. We'll just say restore equals true. So then the program will think that the one we just set up is, it'll think that the one we just set was what was there all along, and then it'll just set it to that again as part of our restore functionality. Bottom 30 pixels of your screen captures outside the bounds of screen share border, immersion ruined, stream unwatchable. What? Oh no. Oh, whatever will you do? Oh, the illusion is broken. Oh, my streaming career is over. Okay. Anyway. I'm not even gonna fix it. I don't care. Unfollowed. Well, as long as you didn't unsubscribe, that's all that matters, buddy. It's all that matters. And this returns an environment.env and an error, so we'll do a var env here.
Morning, sunshine.
This pointer, and that isn't actually that much cleaner, but it's slightly less code and does what I want it to. So who cares? Who cares? So now we have all the functionality in our base command, except for this other thing. We're gonna redo the daemon, probably gonna do that off stream. The git command works fine. So the cd command, this is the toughest one because it includes all of the work in the base command, plus a bunch of extra work.
So let's just get right into it, boys. Let's get right into it. That's right. That's right.
So the selector CMD is the fun one. So let's get at all that. WIP main updates to CLI interface. Add user defined pape setting function. Better CLI. Good old steam locomotive. Shout out to my boy, the steam locomotive. You know who you are, right there on my screen. But shout out to my real boy, Ask Aquarium. Now this is what I'm talking about. This is software engineering. I think this whole thing is like Perl, if I recall. aquarium and ASCII art. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, it's Perl. That's pretty good. Oh, I didn't realize this thing had pause functionality. Huh. I can redraw, restart the whole thing. Anyway. What was I doing? I had main.go open. So the order thing is going to be the same. The selector CMD thing is going to be the same. Except it's not. The CMD is going to be the same. Oh, I put selector CMD there twice. There we go. I got a quarter of the work done just by not doing anything. Where's my other error? Oh, undeclared name. Kind of feeling this track. Anyway. So it's going to select a wallpaper first. It's going to select a wallpaper directory first. And then it's going to go ahead and select a wallpaper. So actually the order isn't going to... I guess if it's... I guess I'll just start with the first one. I don't know. I forget what I have in the rest of this program to facilitate doing this. So I have the chooser in Mac, Linux, unsupported in Windows. So we'll so in Linux it attempts to do dmenu. In Mac, it uses the choose command. Otherwise, it does this app window thing. Oh, it doesn't try to do the choose command. That's all commented out. I hate comments in code. I gotta delete that. In Windows, it just uses the built-in chooser, and in unsupported, it just doesn't let it work. It just says no, I don't care. So what we'll have to do is put in a chooser CMD, and then I'll probably just use the Windows system if one hasn't been chosen. Yeah, I guess that's going to be the only option, right? Yeah, I suppose that's it. Yeah, and these are identical, so... all those, I'll say built-in.go. And then I'll just look up the Windows one. And then I'll just yoink this. So we'll call this built in. And then we'll make a new one, call it something. User defined. There's just a slice of string. And then it'll return a string and an error. So we'll have to figure that out. Still taking the DIRs and the command. They'll be passed to the shell. That's fantastic. So for now, we'll just return that. What we'll do real quick is we'll just return built-in DIRs. So that's real easy. And it requires no imports. Shihapu says, if I have an interview today, PHP backend, but I know Spring Java, what I tell the interviewer? So it's a PHP backend dev job, but you know Spring Java. I mean, if you lie to your interviewer and say that you know PHP, you're going to get a PHP exam, and you're not going to do well on it, and that's pretty bad. But if you're already in the interview, just explain to your interviewer that you are very good at Spring Java. You understand all of how you understand how the web works. You understand how PHP works. You do understand how PHP works, at least, even without experience. If you don't have experience, then you need to get off of this stream right now and go frantically learn PHP. What's it called? Laravel is the framework for it. So learn as much as you can, and then just be honest and say, hey, you know, I know what I'm doing. I'm good at learning things, but I just don't happen to have the PHP experience. And if it works out, it works out. If it doesn't, then you know what you have to learn for next time. So what I want to do is make it so this thing supports kind of the main things people will be using for the chooser, and then uses the built-in one by default, but people can just pass in the name of the program, or they can pass in the a specific command line option, and then we just figure it out from there. I think that's probably going to be the best way to do it. So I'm just going to do that as a to-do. Come up with a bespoke list of choosers that will work okay for the user to use. And then we're just not going to worry about it. I mean, daemon mode is mostly for the Linux people. I don't really think I'm going to have to implement this for Windows or Mac, because on Mac I have the wrapper that does everything, and then on Windows I'll be making a wrapper. That reminds me, I need to hit up Trey, who is going to help me with that. Kind of lost track of him. I know he's still around. He's active in the Discord. Everybody join the Discord. Great place to talk to people. A lot of smart people, a lot of dumb people. Everyone really into tech and software and whatnot. I'm gonna go fill my water. I'll be right back. Let me give you ASCII Aquarium while I'm what's the key command? There we go. There you go. Watch this while I go get some more water. I'm back. It's a shame that clicking doesn't do anything other than just make the screen freak out. All right. If I run shell minus C, hold on a second. Okay, so I can pipe things into shell minus C. That's fantastic. So we'll do the same thing we did otherwise. So we have all this, and this is good code.
It's good code. Good code, I tell you what.
So let's get FMT in here. Let's get OS exec in here. Oh, I need to say shell minus C. There we go. That's better. Shell minus C. And then am I doing my command wrong? There we go. Shell minus C. Command. We'll need to do the same shell thing. So we'll yoink this. Import runtime. We need to import IO and OS. 1 and 2. And this thing wants a string and an error. There we go. So the only other thing we need to do is we'll need to do an in pipe. In pipe error equals cmd.stdin pipe, which is a rate closer. So we'll say if error is not equal to nil, we'll print a to do, and then what we'll do is we will copy everything into to standard in. So what we'll do is we'll do a go func gotta be a function call for underscore comma dir colon equals range dirs then we will do io dot write string in pipe comma right string is that, so in pipe comma dir plus a new line. And this returns in and error, so we'll say underscore comma error colon equals that. If error is not equal to nil, we will fmt.println to do, and then we will in pipe.close. Makes enough sense. And this thing shadows, I don't really care that much, but whatever. So we have all that going. The only other thing is we need to return what came from the out pipe. So we'll return. So instead of copying standard out instead of copying the standard out, we will do this into a buffer. Slice of bytes. I don't know where any of my keys are. There we go. Do that. And this should do it. Basically, it passes into whatever argument you get, whatever command you give it, passes in one line per directory to choose. Then it should present to the user to choose a directory or whatever. Who cares? And then this function will return the directory was chosen. So that's great. And I'll need you to go back into the error handling. I'm not going to write a bunch of error handling code on stream. I know this isn't exactly riveting content for the 3 viewers out there, but error handling is definitely not riveting content. I'd say it's quite the opposite.
No one wants to see that.
I don't know what that voice was, I'm sorry. So we got that. So now we can go back into main.go having written some code that will hopefully support this nonsense. Order CMD, selector CMD. Can I just say selector func? Can I just declare it here and then set it in an if statement? That would make my day. So this will just be a func that takes in a slice of string and returns a string. Well, let me do it. Aww. I can make it a type. Fantastic. Oh, this is fantastic. So I'm going to say if selector CMD and dereference that is not equal to empty, then selector func is equal to selector dot what do I call that? Chooser, excuse me. Need to figure out what's a chooser and what's a selector. User defined. We'll figure that out in a second. This is not the best way of doing this. It's just the way I'm thinking of doing it right now. This music kind of slaps. Alright, so now we need this list of directories. So I just called selector.listDirectories on env.dir, which I suppose is fine. I'll probably have to clean this up later, but having a better UI is way more important than having better code in the inside of the program. Don't let anyone ever tell you that your spaghetti code isn't perfectly fine if all of your users aren't complaining. It's fine. Now, it's a maintainability nightmare and it needs to be refactored at some point, but it's way better than having perfect, like the most perfect possible code that no one ever wants to run because your program is crap. Making your program UI good so that people use it is infinitely more important than making the back end code better. Back end code is fine. You want it good, but never to the exclusion of your user interface. Unless your users are a bunch of Linux people who love weird broken stuff that they want to tinker on, in which case, do as you please. Biting off pirate software, because he always mentions the the Undertale guy and how his code is like real bad, but like Undertale is a great game and I love playing it. So I think we can actually just copy a lot of this code out. Order in the CMD, and up here we have the order in the CMD. So we'll just copy all this stuff. Actually, we'll just copy most of this. Not super mad about copying and pasting this. I could go around doing other stuff for this, but it'll be fine. Don't need this restore thing. Don't need that. And then we'll replace selected deer in here. And then we'll do the same thing in here. This value is never used. Who cares? Who cares? Who cares? We'll just yoink this stuff over here. Oops. And then we'll probably want to do the same thing up higher where I copied it from. So theoretically the program works as intended. Now none of this has been tested, so I suppose we'll see. So let's get this thing going. Pre-test. Alright, so didn't like it. Let's check line 39. Tries again. Oh, look at that. That, it kind of worked on the first try. Who would have thought? Alright. Let's run it with H. So we have the old help stuff. I need to update that. But let's see if we do PapeChanger CD. Oh, it didn't work. PapeChanger get. Okay, so now it's just I'm doing something wrong. I see. If len os.args is greater is less than. If there's no arguments. There we go. Nope. I'm a little dumb. If there's exactly okay, there we go. I'm a little dumb in PMail. Yeah, sure, why not? Let's see. This, oops, VI. Where's my? I don't know where my keyboard. Is this the tilde? This is the tilde. Tilde. Oh shit. VI tilde slash quotes. I'm a little dumb. Let's do tilde, and we'll just read date. There we go. All right, thanks, Jordy. This is what I meant to say. There we go. So that'll change the wallpaper. And if I go run main.go get, it should just say what my wallpaper is. And then if I do get -h, look at that. Go run main.go get -dir. All right, -dirs. Okay. So we got this functionality down. That's a bunch of code that I've written that worked perfectly the first time, except for that one line. But then we get into the fun stuff. Go run main.go -h. Should print out the help. Perfect. Go run main.go -order random. So that seems fine. Seems to be randomly selecting them. And then we'll do ordered. And I don't know where my printing. I'm not getting this something words thing, but that's fine. So let's do go run main.go -h again. Let's try restore. All right, didn't change anything. So let's use the Mac OS to change my wallpaper to, I don't know, this California kelp forest looks kind of neat. Don't know why I had to switch it to a wallpaper that downloads a, big ass HEIF image. It's actually a video. Let me just switch to Monterey. That'll work. Oh, that has to download too? Big Sur? Also a download? Why aren't these things downloaded? I'll just switch it to a random one. All right, there we go. And then if I restore, it should go back to the one I had before. So that's fantastic. Run main.go cd. All right, so that one appears to not work on Mac OS. All right. I'll have to fix that on a Linux machine. Change this again. Oh, I need something you can see. There we go. Go run main.go. Switching them. So that's fun. what was the other one? So we say go run main.go. And then I just say, I don't know, home slash pictures slash wallpapers slash foggy slash one of them. That'll work. And it switched to that. So my just manually selecting a wallpaper seemed to work. And frankly, I'm pretty happy with that, and I'm liable to just quit the stream early so I can end on a win. So thanks everyone for showing up. Thanks for those of you who stuck it out. It's been real and it's been fun. Can't say it's been real fun. Certainly a lot more fun than writing TypeScript, which I'll probably be doing at some point this week, maybe tomorrow, maybe the next day. You know. Have a nice day. Catch you guys on the flip.